Hi, Doc.
Good morning. Good
Morning,
morning,
Doc.
Mr. How are you, sir?
Good, good. I'm currently on
Excellent.
the phone, so I'm trying to switch over to the laptop.
Oh, fantastic. Okie dokie.
Good seeing you. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yep.
Hello, everyone.
Good
Hi.
morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning, Chef Artiste. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Good morning, Ms. Radika.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Lewis. How are you?
Morning. Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, good. Thank you. Good morning.
Excellent.
Good
Well, I guess
morning, everyone.
yes.
Go ahead.
No, I'm so sorry. Go right ahead.
I just for our LAUSD preliminary CTE teachers, if you notice in the chat, I've done some direct messaging to you for a sign-in. If you are with LAUSD, can you please go to the chat and find my name, A. Lachey Elkaby, and then just tell me that you're here so I can make sure I got everyone. I'm Coach Lachey from Catch Up with Coach Lachey. Just want to make sure who is here and that I've sent everyone our sign-in. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Donna Lewis, and I am the specialist that is the administrator that oversees and supports the new teacher support team. And we have, as she said, Coach Lachey here with us, Ms. Elkaby, who has been instrumental in making sure that she's providing you with the kind of support that we hope that will be helpful as you move through your teaching and learning practice. So thank you so much for being here. We are honored really to have both Orange County here with us and LACO here with us to support in your learning. As you know, LACO oftentimes has PDs during the week, during the school day, sometimes after school. And we just wanted to share with you an overview of what it takes in order to clear your CTE credential. We also invited single subject teachers, so those that might be wanting to add a CTE credential to what they already have.
Donna
And
Lewis.
doing that, yes. And then good morning, Mr. Delgado. And then also we've invited industry partners because we want to try our best to create a pipeline of professionals that can come into the classroom using their expertise and also gain a CTE credential, or maybe they know someone in their network that might be willing to obtain a CTE credential, ultimately to provide our kids with the college and career success skills that they need in order to function in a global society. So we are appreciative of everyone being here. Ms. Bridget Mont and Ms. Nicole Stevenson are here today to facilitate and share this information with you. And we're going to be here in the background so that we can provide support as far as questions that may arise. Their presentation is set up so that they do pause periodically so that if questions are posed, we can certainly ask those at that time. And then whatever questions you might have towards the end, we'll be here until at least 12:30, and we can answer those questions as they arise. Okay, so without further ado, Ms. Mott and Ms. Stevenson, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. If you could mute yourself, that would be great. And then if you have a question, like Dr. Lewis said, we'll stop and allow you to, answer, or we'll have like a question and answer session periodically as we go through the material. If you have a question, you can also use the raise hand button, and we can stop and answer your question. You can type any questions in the chat that you might have. This is a lot of information we're going to go over in a very short period of time. And so we want to make sure we allow extra time too at the end to answer any questions that you have. Go ahead, Nicole.
So as Dr. Lewis explained, we are going to talk a little bit about what is the designated subject credential and who can get a CTE credential, why you need it, why you should get one, how you get one and how you clear it, and some questions and misconceptions. that you may have.
So we're going to start with talking about the designated subject credential itself and what is it. It can be very confusing. Some people don't understand what it is and why it's important, and then how you get it, who you can get a CTE credential from. Next slide, please. So the designated subject credential has several different credentials underneath it. We're focusing today only on the CTE teaching credential. It is a teaching credential. It's a K-12 credential where you can teach classes in kindergarten through 12th grade and classes organized for adults in career technical education, trade, and vocational courses. So they're all different courses in career technical education.
When you are looking to get a CTE credential, you need to be recommended for your preliminary credential through an application process through a program sponsor. Here is the list of program sponsors in California that you can choose from. Your program sponsor is the one that recommends you for your credential, that you'll do your coursework through, that matches you with your mentor and helps you clear your credentials. They support you through that credential process. Again, this is linked to this website, and we'll have links to all of the program sponsors. Orange County's a program sponsor, Laco's a program sponsor. I think that you guys have used Ventura also, but that's the list of programs.
So all of the program sponsors that are on that list have to be approved by the Commission on Teacher Credentialing, and we get audited on a regular basis to make sure that our programs meet all the standards. One of the things the state of California focuses on is high quality career technical education. It's important you understand some of this before you even either apply for a credential or once you get the credential. The CTE credential is very different. It has its own set of standards. There are 15 different industry sectors and 58 different pathways that are connected to the CTE credential. All CTE courses have special CalPADS codes. And as a CTE teacher, it's really important you understand how your class is coded and what CalPADS code they are using on your master schedule, or you want to make sure that you're not on the misassignment list. In some cases, it could be that your credential doesn't match the way the course is coded. So it's important that you understand those things. And the other part of the high quality career technical education is that CTE courses need to be taught by teachers who hold a CTE credential and one of the 5 single subject credentials that authorize you to teach CTE. We're going to go over these things a little more in depth, but we wanted to start with the fact that, it's important that you're focusing on high quality CTE. Next slide, Nicole.
So like Bridget was speaking of, there's 15 different industry sectors that cover most industries. These are the list of them here. When you are applying for your CTE credential, we want you to apply for as many of the industry sectors that you qualify for at the time. So most of you, if you're already in education, automatically qualify for the education credential. If you have been teaching on a single subject or multiple subject credential for at least a year, we believe with your education, qualify for education. There's a lot of people that come from a business background and at the same time would probably also qualify for marketing, sales, and service. So a lot of these overlap. So we would try to look at your resume and background and help you get qualified for as many sectors that you qualify for at the same time. The qualifications to clear your credential do not change based on the number of industry sectors. It stays the same.
So these are the 58 different pathways. Each industry sector has pathways underneath it, and they're listed specifically. There is not a pathway for every single industry job. In some cases, as we talked about high quality CTE is also pathways of courses from introductory, concentrator, and capstone courses. But there are a lot of standalone CTE courses that are not part of a pathway. And there are some industry jobs that don't have or fit specifically into a pathway. You know, every program would encourage you to take a look at these lists, find out the pathway you fit in, where your industry experience fits, and that would be the industry sector that you would apply for. Not all, like I said, not all jobs are fit specifically into a pathway. So you just try to match whichever industry sector fits your industry experience. And also the program sponsors can help you with this if you're not really sure which one is the one you should apply for. Can you apply for more than one? Yes, you can. If you apply, when you apply for your industry sector and you get approved for your preliminary credential, and then maybe a year or two years later, you realize you want to add another industry sector, you can add an industry sector onto your credential at any time. You just have to go through that whole process all over again about proving your industry experience. So we always encourage everyone to apply for as many industry sectors as you qualify for in the beginning, and then you don't have to continue to get qualified. So you don't always have to teach in all those industry sectors in the beginning, but if you feel like you want to teach in industry sectors that you qualify for, we encourage you to go ahead and apply for those when you do your initial application.
That end. Yeah, that end.
Question? Someone was
Trying to mute. So your credential is issued in the sector name, not the pathway that you're going to be teaching in. So you're only allowed to teach in the pathway that you have experience in. So for example, in arts, media, entertainment, you may have been a dancer and your experience or what you should be is in the performing arts pathway. We don't want you teaching game design just because you have the industry sector that would allow you to teach that. So you need to make sure that your industry experience also lines up with it.
So when can you get a CTE credential and how do you qualify for a CTE credential? This particular section is where most of the questions come from. So we are going to pause at the end of this and answer any specific questions that you might have. So just bear with us through this whole part of it. So we talked before about a program sponsor. You'll hear that name as you go through, you know, getting your CTE credential. Your program sponsor is the person that you choose from that list of 17 people that you want to do your credential with. We encourage you to do your research and figure out which program fits you specifically. Every program does their does things a little differently. We all are, you know, based with the same standards and we all align, but every program teaches a little differently and has different qualifications and runs their classes a little differently. So do your research and figure out which one fits best for you. So you have to complete an application through an approved program sponsor, so someone from that list. You have to show 3 years of full-time work experience. 1 year has to be at least 1,000 hours. You have to have at least a high school diploma or equivalent, like a GED. You have to have a certificate of clearance on file with the Commission on Teacher Credentialing. And in order to get a certificate of clearance, you have to get fingerprinted, not just with your employing district, but also with the state. And then we also talked about getting recommended by the program sponsor. So these are the 4 areas. Notice that we didn't talk anything about having taking a CSET exam, having a bachelor's degree. These are the qualifications to qualify for a CTE credential. We base it mostly on your industry experience. We're going to go in detail a little bit now on breaking this down a little bit.
So when you're looking at the 3 years of work experience or industry, 1 year needs to be at least 1,000 hours so that you're the 3,000 hours. Can be paid, non-paid, or volunteer. Can be full-time or part-time. Part-time work experience can be accumulated to complete the 1,000 hours over multiple years. It can be an internship, an externship, self-employment, but there does need to be recency in your work or experience. You need to have at least 1 year in the last 5 years and 2 years within the last 10 years.
So probably, I think it was back in 2016, between 2013 and 2016, the CTC expanded what they will take as an equivalency for work experience, specifically for those people who are currently teaching. So if you have a single subject, multiple subject, or education specialist credential, In some cases, you know, you've been teaching for 10 years, so your industry experience might be past that 10-year mark. So what can you do to show equivalency for work experience? So they came up with some equivalencies that you can use. One equivalency is an occupational internship or externship that is directly related to your industry sector you're applying for. Any kind of career technical teaching experience that you might have can also count towards industry experience. Any college level coursework directly related to your industry sector, you can count towards work experience. 24 units of related coursework can count towards 1 year, and you can use up to 48 semester units and count towards 2 years, that will count towards 2 years of industry experience. Any kind of advanced industry certification that you might hold can count towards industry experience. And when we say advanced industry or certification, we're talking about if you're a mechanic, you have those ASE certifications in transmission or air conditioning. If you're in the medical field, it's like a CNA, LVN, RN. It can't just be a certificate from a professional development that you went to. It has to be specific certification from your industry that you have to have as part of your industry that shows you have advanced skills. And then you can count 1 year of teaching experience if you're a single subject, multiple subject ed specialist teacher and you hold a teaching credential that's clear and you've taught on it for at least 1 year. You can count 1 year of your teaching, no matter what you teach, science, history, math, towards 1 year of industry experience.
So no matter how you piece together your alternatives, your substitutions, you need to have at least 1 year of actual work experience in the industry. You can't combine all industry certifications and college. You have at least one.
So I know this sounds confusing, and like we said when we started this particular section, there's a lot, and it can get you can kind of get in the weeds a little bit. So we came up with some examples to kind of see how this all works. So we have 2 people here. We have Sheila Strong and Jim Davis. And one of these people qualifies and one of these people does not qualify. So Sheila is applying for the information communication technology industry sector. She holds a single subject credential in math. She's been teaching for the last 12 years, but her IT experience is over 10 years old. For the last 5 years, she's been the IT specialist for her school. She runs the school website, trains all the teachers on Chromebooks and new technology for the school. Then we have Jim Davis. He's applying for engineering and architecture industry sector. He holds a single subject credential and has taught physics classes for the last 15 years. He has a degree in engineering and was an intern with an engineering firm after college from 1999 to 2001. So, which one of these people do you think is the person that would qualify for a credential? If you think it's Sheila, anybody want to raise their hand or speak up? And if you think it's Jim, it's actually Sheila. So let me tell you why it's Sheila and not Jim. So Sheila, even though her industry experience was over 10 years old, the work that she's doing with the school, she's been the IT specialist for the school for the last 5 years. She runs the school website, trains the teachers on Chromebooks and new technologies. Those are industry related skills. Those are industry IT skills. She may not get paid for it. It might be part of her extra duties as assigned, or she might have different periods that she does the trainings in. So one of the rules of thumb, even if you're a teacher, anything that you do for the school that they would have to hire someone to come in and do and pay them, you can count that towards industry experience. So Sheila, because she does things for the school and IT, she can count all that as industry experience. And so she would qualify using that. Jim, on the other hand, didn't qualify because even though he has a degree in engineering and that he did do worked for an engineering firm and did an internship, it's way past the 10-year mark. So we would work, a program sponsor would work with Jim. Sorry, I don't know why that's Yeah, sorry, the background noise. So we would have to, work with Jim and say, here are some things you can do to earn that extra industry experience so that you could eventually qualify. So most program sponsors won't just say to you, sorry, you don't qualify. They'll definitely work with you to help you to know what you're missing and kind of figure out a way that you could get the rest of what you need to qualify for the credential. Okay, next slide. Is this me too, Nicole, or is this you?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Well, you do it if you want.
Okay, so we've got two more. We've got Charles Bryant and we've got Mary Hernandez. Charles is applying for the public service industry sector. He has a doctorate in law. He's worked as a lawyer from 2002 to 2005. For the past 2 years, he has worked as a real estate broker and an admissions representative for a private post-secondary college. Then we've got Mary. She's applying for the education and business sector. She has a business finance degree and a preliminary single subject in art, and she's just started teaching. He does have an online t-shirt business, which she also started to. So who qualifies? Charles.
And you can go ahead and type that in the chat if you want. Do you think Charles qualifies? Do you think Mary qualifies? Do they both qualify? Be brave, people. I only see one person who guessed.
Mary, both. Mary. So let's start with Charles. So Charles is applying for public service. So he has a doctorate in law and worked as a lawyer, but his industry experience is past due. The past 2 years, he's worked as a real estate broker, so that does not qualify him for the public service industry sector. He is an admissions representative for a private post-secondary college, which would fall under education. He does not qualify as we're looking at it right here. If he was working for a law school or something more specific
and I already
to
told
the
them that I was not going to be there for my.
Oh,
So if Charles was working as an admissions representative for a law school or something like that, then perhaps he would apply at that point. So we would talk to him a little bit more about other things that he was possibly doing, or if he was doing legal advice on the side, or maybe he was running his own business. But as we're seeing it right there, he does not qualify. So for Mary, she is applying for education and business. Mary might have some additional teaching experience requirements for her credential, but she would qualify for the business sector based on her degree and based on her t-shirt business that she's running. She may also qualify for marketing, sales, and service because she's probably marketing her business. So those were some things that we would support her in. And then assuming because she has her did her teaching experience and has her single subject, she would qualify for the education sector.
okay. Does anybody have any questions on that?
I have a question.
Okay, what is it, Alex?
I do I'm doing the CTE networking thing, or as a teacher, but on the side I also do photography, and I was wondering if I could apply for that, even though I'm self-employed, taking some photography classes years ago, but I've done photography since high school, like for pretty much I've been doing this for 20 years. But it's a side thing I love to do and love to teach others. But is this something that I could also apply for? But even though I'm self-employed and also work for, say, a Univision, like, or a news station for that, could I still be able to qualify for that?
Well, that would be something that you would, gather the documents that we talked about earlier. If you could prove 3 years of industry experience based on some of those things that we talked about, it sounds like since you're currently working with people and you've done photography for a long time, you would just have to prove that 3 years of industry experience. And so, you can call up a program sponsor and kind of walk through what you have, and they could let you know whether you qualify or not, or fill out an
Gotcha. Okay.
application and send it in. Everybody's a little different. Some people will do it with you over the phone. Some people have you turn in the application. But yeah, if you've done photography for the last 20 years and you can, check the boxes we just talked about and use some of those to prove your 3 years of industry experience, there isn't any reason why you wouldn't qualify for photography as well, or arts,
okay.
media, and
Awesome.
entertainment.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Vincent, you have a question?
Hi, how's it going? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Good morning.
Okay, cool. So I guess my question, the thing that I'm most worried about is, I've been a storyboard artist for, I guess, the last dozen years, but there's been some slowdown, especially after COVID in the entertainment industry and the strike. And my question would be that I mean, if you look at all the years I've been working, even just within the last 10, like I'm pretty sure I'd hit those numbers, but because of those things I just mentioned, I think I'd have problems fulfilling the number of hours for recent years. Should I take the CSET to fulfill that, or do you think a program sponsor would be able to, I don't know, figure something out with that?
So there is no CSET with the CTE based on your education experience and your industry experience and those different ways to qualify. But I think that even if you haven't worked for a specific company, you can self-verify too, based on things that you've done in your free time, not necessarily with a company. So I would definitely approach a program sponsor and have them go through your resume and your recency experience and those hours, or at least tell you if there's a industry certification that you can go and get that would help put you over this amount of hours. So it sounds like you've been doing it for so long, you definitely would.
Yeah,
Great. Thank
and
you so much.
you can combine some of those years, Vincent, too. If you don't feel like you had 1,000 hours in 1 year, you can combine years. We have a lot of people that the same thing happened during COVID, where they weren't working a full-time job during COVID. And so they had to combine years to come up with those 3 years of industry experience and that 1,000 hours each year. So you could combine years, and this is something that your program sponsor can work with you on, like Nicole said.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Elizabeth.
Hi.
Hi.
I already have a clear CTE credential for health science and medical technology. I was just wondering, like, is this only for people that do not have the credential and you're trying to help them? Because I had filled out an application and I think that was why I was asked to attend this meeting.
Well, if you already have a clear CTE credential in health science and medical technology, then you don't need to do, you're qualified to teach now. So, maybe you got invited if you wanted to add an industry sector on, or something along those lines. But if you already have a clear credential, then you can teach. How long have you had your credential? Is it the older credential, or?
No, I have a clear CTE, health science, medical technology credential, and I just renewed it, and I think it's only 6 months since I renewed it. No, but I was just making sure, like, are you going to be talking about like the different areas that you're going to be hiring for, or this is just to help people get the credential?
I think this
Good question.
is a LAUSD question.
Yeah,
Yes,
this
thank
is
you.
strictly for people who are interested in getting the credential, but you
Okay.
can maybe talk to Dr. Lewis or Coach or Lachey about, she's Lachey, you want to answer that one?
I can answer it if that's
Yes, I'll
Okay.
defer.
Yes, and we have also our work-based learning coordinator, Ms. Raquel Style, on the Zoom with us today. So she is part of our recruitment element of our new teacher support team. And so whenever we have folks that might be applying, we want to just make sure that we're providing them with all the information that we can. But Elizabeth, you are absolutely correct. If you have a clear CTE credential in health science and medical technology, and that's the only credential you were seeking, then you're fine. You're fine, and you can continue to apply for positions as they become available.
Okay, good. Yeah, I wasn't sure. And I also sent my resume again today to, well,
Okay.
not again, but I sent it to Miss Stiles. So, okay, great.
Yes.
Thank you very much, ladies
Thank you so much.
and gentlemen.
Appreciate
Sorry.
it. Of course. Bye-bye.
Okay, Sarah, you have a question?
Yeah. So just a quick question. In order to get your like CTE credential, you there's nothing really you can do prior to getting like hired for a position, correct? Like, so like if I apply for fashion and design cosmetology, I would imagine if I got the job, that's when we start our credential, like getting our credential.
Yes and no. They won't hire you without it, so you'll have to get it in order to get the job. But some people like to, start the process ahead of finding a job. Some people won't start the process until they actually get the job. Different program sponsors have different qualifications. Some program sponsors, you can't enter their program unless you already have a job, a teaching position. Other program sponsors will allow you to start the process early prior to getting the job. So it just depends. So once you do your research about the program sponsors, then you'll see, what path you might want to take. And if you're looking for jobs now, some of the applications will ask you, do you hold a CTE credential? Or are you in the process of getting one? So, you'll have to say yes or no to that question. And employers set their own guidelines on what they require to be hired. So, but I guarantee they won't hire you until they know at least you have that prelim or are in the process of getting one.
Okay, and then you have to get that through like one of the program sponsors, so you could just go and apply through them. Okay.
Yes. Great. Anyone else have any questions? Perfect. No? Well, if you think of something, we're still going to pause at the end and we'll be around after this is over. We can answer questions then as well.
Our next part of the presentation is how do I clear my credential and where can I use it? So when you get your preliminary credential is good for 3 years. You have 3 years to clear your CTE credential. You must demonstrate competency in the Category 2 program standards, which means you must complete the coursework that's required for the credential that you're getting. If you already have a single subject, multiple subject or ed specialist credential, you only need to take a foundations course. That's what the little arrow is above. You're a first-time credential holder and you're going through the CTE program. There's additional. You need to complete the teaching English learners course or have the equivalency of an EL authorization that's built into a prior credential. Complete the health education for educators course. Complete the U.S. Constitution requirement, have a valid CPR, child, adult, infant CPR on file with your program sponsor, and also verify 4 terms or 2 years of successful teaching in the industry sector that you are applying for your primary credential in. You already have a clear credential, single subject, multiple subject ed specialist. You only need to teach 2 terms. And within that successful teaching experience, as you are in a classroom, you will have a mentor component of your program that varies depending on your program sponsor, but your employer district should be matching you with a mentor and your program sponsor providing you. We've also linked the CL-888. The CL-888 you've seen in many of the slides, and it's an outline of qualifying and teaching experience and industry experience. Everything that you need to know from the CTC lens on the CTC.
So when Nicole was talking about the teaching experience requirement to clear your credential, we run across this a lot where people say, well, I'm responsible for the robotics club at school and we meet every day after school and we have a whole summer program. So the teaching experience, you have to be teaching Remember, we talked about that high quality CTE back in the beginning. You have to be teaching a course that is part of a district operated program. Can be a standalone or part of a pathway, but it has to be part of a master schedule. You have to be the teacher of record, and it has to be a course that is offered as part of a master schedule. Now, in some cases, some courses are aligned with community college, articulated, or dual enrollment. Those courses also count, but it can't be a club, an after-school program. It has to be an actual course.
So we wanted to give you this sort table. So we talked about CalPads and high quality CTE and how that aligns when it comes to misassignments and how your classes are coded. So when you're looking at your teaching experience requirement, you can use this table to type in the course title that you're teaching, and it will show you the credential that you need to have to be teaching that. So if you're teaching a regular elective theater course, may be a general education course and not a CTE course. Needs to be aligned with career standards. So this is a really good resource. This is also a good resource for administrators trying to understand the proper credential that you need.
So this last section, we're going to go over some of the most common questions that program sponsors get asked, and some misconceptions that are out there. So after this is finished, if we didn't cover something that you have a question about, obviously feel free to ask that question, but we're going to cover some questions and things that come up on a regular basis. Next slide, please. So everybody, well, in the beginning, when we were talking about properly credentialed, people have to teach the properly coded courses. And they talked about there are 5 single subject credentials that are authorized to teach CTE courses. Those industry sectors are agriculture, business, home economics, industrial arts, industrial technology, education, or industrial technology or industrial arts. Those are the 2 old names for it. Those are combined now called industrial arts in education or industrial technology education. I can't remember the exact name, but they used to be separate credentials. Now they're blended. If you have one of these listed credentials, you are qualified to teach CTE courses in those areas, and you do not have to get a designated subject CTE credential. However, we will warn you that you have to make sure that you actually have industry experience. You can't just teach because you have the actual credential, but you have to have industry experience. In some cases, like in home economics, to get that single subject in home ec, you had to do a lot of industry hours to get that credential. So that's where your industry experience comes in. So there are specific things you can and cannot teach on the next slide.
So there are 5 single subject credentials that authorize you to teach. Those single subject credentials are agriculture, business education, home economics, and industrial technology education or industrial art. So the matching industry sectors for CTE are on the right-hand side. But again, if you have the single subject credential and are teaching in a CTE classroom, make sure that you also have on file proof of your industry experience.
Can I add a little something to this, Nicole?
Yes.
And the thing that are listed on that right-hand column there, those are the actual codes. Like for business, the R1S, BUSI, and BUSX, introductory business. If you have a single subject in introductory business, it does not qualify. It doesn't count. It just can't be any business education credential. It has to be these specific ones that we have listed here. And remember, in the arts, media, and entertainment under the industrial tech one, you cannot teach anything in performing arts. You can only teach things like the game design or other things not under performing arts. That's not included. And there's a link down there to the administrative assignment manual if you want more information on this. national board certification. So if you're a nationally board certified teacher in one of these content areas listed below, agriculture, environmental sciences, arts and communications, etc., you can automatically apply to get a CTE credential and not have to go through a preparation program. You can send it directly to the CTC, and you have to fill out the following documents. And you can click on the link below if you want more information about this, if you think you qualify. There's information in the CL 888 that tells you how to apply for the CTE credential.
So the designated subject CTE credential, the EL authorization is added when your credential is cleared. And so until your credential is cleared, a candidate must file a waiver each year until the credential is cleared. So if you don't already have an EL authorization built into a single subject or multiple subject credential, you do need to have a waiver on file because your EL authorization is built into your not the preliminary.
So a lot of times people get confused about these EL waivers. And, you know, like Sarah was asking before, once you get hired, they will ask you to get the waiver. You have to apply for the waiver on your own and you have to pay for it. It's $100. And I know as a new teacher, you're getting fingerprinted, you're paying for your applications and all of these different things. You have to refile every single year until you clear the credential. Employers sometimes get confused and they will ask you to file for an emergency CLAD, and you are not eligible for an emergency CLAD. Designated subject teachers can't get an emergency CLAD. They need to get the waiver. So this particular slide has information in case your employer is confused of what the waiver certificate of completion of staff development is and how you apply for it. And you can get it and you can apply for it every single year through your employer. They have to help you file for it. And your program sponsor will have to write a letter showing that you still have good standing in the program, and then you can file for that each year.
Recently, the CTC created this resource called Roadmap for Teaching. So this is anybody that is interested in becoming an educator. They have credential analysts ready to assist you. If you're trying to add authorizations, if you have a single subject and you're trying to get another credential. So any information on becoming an educator of any kind, you can use this resource. And they've put a lot of money into this. It's a really good resource. Wanted to make sure.
Well, and that's our last slide. I know we went over a lot of information. There are links in the slides, and we will give you, we'll put in the chat a link to the PowerPoint or to the Google Docs, the Google Slides, and then we'll also email that so that it can be sent out to you for everyone who attended today, because there's lots of links for answers to a lot of the things we just talked about. But we are here to answer any questions right now. If anybody has any questions or comments that they want to ask right now, because we know we went through a lot of information in a very short period of time. So feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's nice to see so many faces, especially Linda, because I've seen her, I've messaged her and sent her so many email. You never know what the person looks like. So I'm just in the cusp of like clearing my credential. I just have to, I'm waiting for my admin my AP to finish her portion. So if I don't finish in time, is there a certain, like, I don't know, time does it take? Is it like a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks from when everything is submitted to when it's cleared?
Since he's in my program, I
Yeah,
can
go ahead,
answer if
Linda.
that's okay.
Yeah.
It's all dependent upon how many applications are ahead of you, to be quite honest, and how busy we are at the time. And Bridget's nodding her head as well. It can take anywhere from 1 day to 10 days. It just really depends. And if it is complete, that's the crucial part. We oftentimes get applications that aren't complete, whether it's to, an initial application or to clear or for an extension. So hopefully you should probably have everything in time so that you're able to clear. But if not, there is that option of an extension. Extensions are only good for 1 year at a time, and they are granted at the discretion of CTC.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
thanks for bringing that up, because I think we forgot to tell you that when you get a preliminary credential, it's good for 3 years, and you have 3 years to complete all the requirements that you need to do to clear. And so, like Linda said, if you can't do all of those things in that 3-year period of time, you can file for a 1-year extension, but you will only be granted an extension if you are actively participating in a program. So we get people all the time that get the preliminary credential, and then they'll drop out of a class or they'll delay things. And then all of a sudden they call us, the week that their credential is about to expire and say, I need an extension because I'm about to be pulled out of the classroom. So it's really important that you remember to stay consistent in your program, get those courses done. In most cases, you can clear, if you're coming straight from industry and you do not have another credential, you can clear a credential in 2 years, easy. If you are a single subject, multiple subject, or ed specialist credentialed teacher already, and you only have to take 1 class and teach 2 semesters, you could clear that in a year. So it's important to just keep on top of it and get it done, because time flies. Whether you think 3 years is a long time, believe me, it goes by really quickly. So it's important to stay consistent and active in your program. And I also noticed Nancy put in the chat that LACO does not require you to have a teaching position prior to joining their program. I know the big programs, and most of the programs are with county offices. So LACO and Orange County, I know we both do not require you to do that, but there are some like San Diego and others that do require you to have your job first before you join their program. So any other questions?
So I know LACO put a couple links in the chat. So did we. There is a Google Drive folder that we have created specifically for you guys, that we'll put a copy of this recording, and your administration can share any other additional resources. That folder is designed for you, and we will have the recording up as well.
Anybody else? Anything to add? Any other questions? Lachey, did you have anything you wanted to end on, or Dr. Lewis, or?
I was going to defer to Dr. Lewis or Ms.
Okay.
Stiles to give
Vincent
a little
has a
spiel.
question.
Oh, Vincent has a question.
Oh,
Go ahead,
go right
Vincent.
I feel really bad for interrupting Ms. Lewis.
No, don't worry.
So I guess seeing as I'm honestly like very new to this, it sounds like even though some programs like you're mentioning in San Diego need you to have the job first before starting, like as a LA resident and someone who would be looking mainly at Los Angeles and that area, what would be the first step be looking for jobs first, or just trying to start on the credential, the CTE pathways first?
I would say that all depends on you.
Yes.
I mean, it's your decision. If you feel like you want to get a jump start on the coursework and invest that money ahead of time and get going, then you need to research all the different programs and see which one fits best for you. If you want to wait and find a job first because you want that security of the position and the money before you go into a program, either way works.
Okay.
It's all dependent on you. It's your decision, basically, what you want to do.
Okay, so there's no like ideal way. It's basically, okay, gotcha.
There's an ideal way for you that might not be the ideal way for me. So it's what works for you specifically, for your life, for your pocketbook, how busy you are, the time you want to invest, the money you want to invest, and what works best for you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
We also would motivate you to go on EdJoin. EdJoin is where you can look for a lot of these CTE postings and see which districts are hiring for the industry sector that you are interested in teaching in. There is a lot of funding coming down from the state. There are some districts that are providing either stipends or reimbursement and things like that for you to get to your credential. So if you see a job posting, I would motivate you to inquire if there's any scholarships or funding.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Well, it sounds, Vincent, since you live in the so.
Oh, you broke up, Bridget. You might.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying that Vincent is in the right place at the right times because I know that they're looking to hire. That's why they are doing this session. So.
Yes, and Vincent, we'll make sure that you have the link for our K-12 CTE vacancy so you can see what we have available right at this moment. It also was on the flyer, so if you happen to have a copy of the flyer, that link is on there as well. Are there any other questions while we have all the experts in the room from Laco and Orange County? Well, if there are no further questions.
I just wanted to,
go right ahead.
I'm Emmanuel. I'm from Kenya, and I was sent this email to attend this session. So I'd applied, I think, in the Orange County for a CTE position. I've done some evaluation span run, but I've not really understood the whole evaluation thing. But I had applied some job, but now I'm also not in the US. I'm in Kenya. I don't know if I could be directed or guided by you people.
So what is it specifically that we might be able to help you with? We don't have any virtual positions, if that's what you were thinking about. All of our positions currently for K-12, CTE, and K-12 across the board are in person. So that means that you would have to be here in the United States. Was there something else that you were looking for specifically that we might be able to assist with?
Okay, so the evaluation cannot be done to anybody who is outside. All right. I was also, does it have some cost implication if you had to do it?
I'm not sure what it is that you're asking.
What I gathered, Mr. Emmanuel, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like you are interested in applying and wanted to find out if your application could be evaluated while you are abroad, prior to expending the cost of coming here and applying. Wondering if you can apply online and have your paperwork evaluated and a decision made prior to you coming. Is that what it sounds like is that what you're saying? Did I get that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
You would need to reach out to your program sponsor and find out what their process is for applying.
Well, and I think he's asking, he wants to get the job first. If I'm hearing you correctly, you want to apply for positions, for jobs first to see if you can get a job. And then if you do get the job, then yes, you would have to work with your program sponsor. But I will tell you, if you're out of the country trying to apply for the credential, it gets a little complicated because you have to be fingerprinted within the United States, or you have to mail in fingerprint cards. So it's a little more complicated, but I think what you were saying is if you could be evaluated for the job first, if I'm not mistaken, is that correct?
I think that's correct. I had done Spantron. I had done some evaluation in Spantron. I don't know if you know any evaluation done by Spantron. And they told me that I could teach. I could handle CTE.
So you're talking about evaluation of your transcripts, your out of state, out of country's transcripts, and all of those.
Sure.
Yeah, so your transcripts would have to be evaluated through one of the approved companies that the CTC has on their list. But you can talk to the program sponsor, they can help you with that. I think somebody put some links in the chat of jobs that are listed and different things. So once you're ready, whoever the district is hiring you can help you, and then the program sponsor you choose can also help you through that application process.
Okay, thank you. I'll have a look at the list. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All of
Very well.
our
Thank you
all
for
of
the
our
great
oh,
assistance.
Welcome.
thank you. All of our preliminary CTE teachers, I am sending you our exit ticket and sign out. Please stay on the session while you complete it, because you may have questions for our experts. If there's any details that you didn't quite catch or may have forgotten as you complete those questions, I have emailed them to your LAUSD, and I'm also putting them in the chat one by one. So if you didn't get it in the chat yet, you can also check your LAUSD email account, and that link will be there. And the questions have to do with the details shared today. And like I said, you might remember some off the top of your head and you could answer those questions, and others you might want to ask our experts that are online. So you can get started with that right now. We just want to make sure that you have gotten the information, understand the information, and can demonstrate your mastery of the information on our exit ticket. Thank you.
Oh, where did you go? Oh,
Is
okay.
anything else?
I
Troy,
was
did
gonna
you have a
ask
question?
yeah, I was gonna ask about question number 2. I'm
Go
missing
ahead
something.
and read it because they don't have they don't know what question number 2 is. Okay, thanks.
Based on the presentation, please answer the 4 questions below the prompt. The preliminary designated subject CTE teaching credential authorizes the holder to teach 1, which subjects, 2, which grade levels and age groups, 3, which type of courses, and 4, how many years. If I'm not mistaken, 4 should be 4 to 5 or 3 to 5.
For preliminary CTE?
Yes.
Are you asking how many years it takes
Well,
to
actually,
clear it?
I'm stuck on all of them. I'm just trying to remember all of them, but the freshest one in my head was 4.
In the slides, I think Nicole shared a folder that has the presentation slides. Would that be helpful? So you can refer back to that particular slide.
I would, yes.
Yes, I also linked. It's in your form too, Mr. RDC. There's a link. If you notice on that question, the word presentation is hyperlinked.
Oh, yeah, I see it now. It's
And
too
so
early.
but yeah, you have a slide on your presentation that says that the preliminary CTE credential authorizes the holder to, that's one of your slides, and it talks about the subjects, the grade levels, and the age group. It talks about clearance requirements and the years.
It's early on a Saturday.
That's all right. Miss Stevenson or Miss Mont, would you mind finding that slide? I'm so sorry. It's
actually, if you're talking about the credential and what you can or can't teach, and that would be the slide number 4.
I see it for 3.
the requirements, the requirements for CTE, preliminary CTE.
I'm sorry, say that again. So you said what grade levels can you teach? That's on slide 4. And then what can you teach would be those industry sectors and pathways we talked about, which would be slides 7 and 8.
Also, Nicole or Bridget, would you mind letting in Raquel Stiles? Did you see her in the waiting room?
Oh,
Yes, slide 4. Slide 4 is the one I was referring to.
I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody in the search.
On slide 4, it's there, and that's the yes. That the preliminary designated subject CTE credential authorizes the holder to teach in the subject or subjects named on the credential in grades 12 and below, and then classes organized primarily for adults and in career, technical, trade, vocational courses, and that it's issued for 3 years.
did that answer your question?
Yes, it did, actually.
Perfect. Awesome.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Is there any other preliminary CTE teacher for LAUSD that did not receive the exit ticket or the sign out?
Oh, I think I didn't get that.
Are you currently an LAUSD preliminary CTE teacher?
Oh, actually, you know what? I think if I'm not registered as that, I probably don't need to sign out for the thing that I'm not a member of.
Okay.
Never mind.
Thank you.
Anything else? Looks like Joshua did not receive the exit ticket.
Yes, the exit ticket is for, so I'm Coach Lachey. I'm one of the instructional coaches for our new teacher support team. And so we currently are supporting just under 100 new preliminary credential holders for CTE. And they are currently teaching in LAUSD, are a CTE teacher. So they're brand new, coming from industry professionals who are new to teaching and have not yet cleared. So we're this particular exit ticket and sign out is for those teachers that we're supporting. We know we have other people on as well that are coming from industry and not yet teaching. We have people who already have their credentials and are looking for positions. But this particular form is for those new CTE teachers who've been participating in our new teacher support team PDs, our Spring into Spring series that's been happening on Wednesdays. We also have on Thursdays with Raquel Stiles, our work-based learning coordinator. So if any of that sounds familiar, then I'll share that with you if you haven't gotten it all yet ready. And the people I'm sharing it with are those who signed in. So let me know if I missed anyone.
Mr. Parsons, if I could just say a couple words.
Please.
I just want to say to anyone here attending, the support is overwhelming, meaning meaning that in a very good way. The rate, how should I say, regular credential teachers versus us, we get way more support than they do. Just also note there's a lot of extra resources for opportunities for extra money also because of all the support they provide too. So you get the support and you get paid for generally most of the support. So just those of you considering, when you look at whatever the hourly is, also look at there's a lot of opportunities to make above that also and get all this additional support. Obviously, I've completed my classwork, by the way, which is reasonable. How should I say? It's a bit of work, but it's very reasonable to do and complete. Like I said, I completed mine in about a year, my classwork. So it's very doable. Like they say, they give you 3 years. So I'm waiting to teach another semester to clear mine. But I just want to let everybody know there's a ton of support for you. So I know I was a little overwhelmed when I started and pulling out some hair because I was so overwhelmed, but they get you through it.
Thank you, Craig, for serving as our ambassador for marketing the support that we share with our new CTE teachers. We really seriously are working very hard and diligently and persisting as much as we can to provide our new teachers with that kind of wraparound services that we know will be helpful as they're going through their clearing their credential, finishing all their coursework, whatever kinds of things that we can do. And this is just, of course, one of our teams of the many that are in our CTE-Linked Learning department. So thank you for sharing that. I know that I am very proud to hear that. Coach Lachey and Raquel also. It's just amazing. Thank you so very much.
And I also wanted to say, based on what Mr. Parsons just shared, the support is there, and the if you have hopefully already have a program sponsor, if you're already teaching, that you utilize the resources that they provide. Each of the program sponsors throughout the state, there's 18, correct?
Yes.
18 in the state. We definitely have our local ones, a couple of which are here and graciously working their Saturdays to keep you all informed. But the resources are there. And if you tap into them, you do feel the support, you do feel the community. And all of that is just going to help you to become a better educator and help you along your learning and teaching journey. And so thank you, Mr. Parsons, for sharing that. And I just want to continue to invite you all to our next PD, which is going to be this Wednesday, June 5th, and we are going to be reflecting and applying what we've been talking about in regards to the book You Can Do This, and reflecting on teaching styles, work-life balance, and applying those things to help you make a plan for next year. And so that will be this coming Wednesday after school from 3:45 to 4:45. You'll receive a calendar invite. And again, this is for our new preliminary teachers that are in the classroom already and getting ready to finish out strong this school year.
Also, we want to share, Raquel, do you want to share your upcoming WBL series that you're doing? Spring into Spring, that will be on this Tuesday. We postponed that particular session that was intended to be last Thursday on the 30th. We postponed it until the 4th, I believe it is on the calendar. Raquel or one of our new teachers can correct me if I'm wrong, but please, Raquel, do you want to go ahead and share a little bit about that as well?
Yes, we will be doing our last 4-part series on just WBL classes and workshops. And so in these series, I basically walk you through how to do them on your own. And then hopefully I can come out to your class and help you with like the first couple of them. Then I let you go on the tricycle, because I take the training wheels off, and then you can ride hopefully on your own. So this will be the last of the 4-part series next week, and we'll be talking about just equipping students for professional and educational growth and success.
Fantastic. Thank you, Coordinator Raquel and Coach Lachey. We appreciate you. Thank you so very much. Is everyone wrapping up their exit ticket, or are you still working?
I think just I think I got one more teacher.
Yeah,
Okay.
I still need to do it. I was listening and not typing, so
Okay.
I'll finish it in a minute.
Thank you.
But yeah, I have a hard time listening and typing.
Not unusual.
I know our wonderful guests that are working with us today at OCDE are probably ready to go. This is not my my Zoom meeting, so I can't necessarily just impose myself to stay on with everyone, but you all let me know what you like to do.
Well, no, I'll finish mine right after this is over. I'll submit it in a second if that's okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. White. Go ahead, ask Miss Chef Pepper.
Is there anyone else who have any questions or?
I think Chef Pepper had a
I guess
question.
I was just looking for the slides. I'm struggling with exit ticket. Question number 4. I know you said the slide was somewhere I could just pull it up, but I don't see the link.
I
was
think
just
question
wondering.
number 1 has the word presentation is linked. And then if you don't mind, can you read question 4 so everyone will know what you're referring to?
Question number 4 says, in career, technical, trade, or vocational courses, the clear designated subject CTE teaching credential authorizes the holder to serve English learners using which instructional approach? Elaborate.
So our clear credentials, our clear credential holders, they don't have to fill out a waiver every year because they have already been cleared to serve English learners in. That slide was just up. You was go back. Yes, in yellow, it's.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Coach Lachey, what time should our newbies be including on their exit ticket?
You're on mute, Lachey.
That's a Dr. Lewis question.
I think they're still here. I would put 12:15. So 11 to 12:15, please. We're always mindful, and the reason why we do these things is for auditing purposes. We always have to be in compliance with any auditor that could ask for information at any time on any day. So we have to be prepared for that anytime we're using grant funds. So this is a grant that we're using to support you in your retention. So we want to make sure that we're adhering to all of the compliance issues. So thank you very much. We appreciate you. So we'll agree on 12:15. Did you hear that, Craig?
Yeah, like I say, I'm just sorry. I'm just I'm making sure to go over to slide and fill this out. So yeah, I'll get it in there. I'm still working on it.
If you have questions, go ahead and ask them if you have questions. I think we're still looking for 4 more. I thought it was only 1, but I'm looking for 4 more. And I will provide you all with my Google Voice number. I'll put it in the chat if you have questions. Let me make sure I put that in there. It's part of my email signature, but I will like if you don't get it in the chat, you can also go to any email I've ever sent you. And make sure I have that number correct. Okay, so it's Google Voice. Okay, so I will make myself available if because our guests are sorry, our hosts. I don't know which one you are, but our gracious experts who are here today, and also our LACO representatives who are here today. We want to thank both of them for being here. And if you all are ready, so it's up to the person in the driver's seat. It's up to you. So if anyone needs to contact me, I will stay around and help and guide you. Because the whole idea is that you get the information and understand it. And so yes, because I know it's going to be very confusing going through this process. My husband is a CTE teacher. I'm working with all of the new CTE teachers on our district, and I know it's very confusing. So the more information you are armed with, it helps you. It definitely is going to help you through your journey to feel more confident and supported and clear on your pathway, on your path to clearing.
Lachey, I'll stop recording, but I can stay on so that you guys can have any questions. I'll step away and you guys can finish up and then I'll shut it down.
That's so gracious of you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Awesome.